So I believe the people who design your spaces and manage your buildings have a greater impact on your health and well-being than your doctor. So I was on a team for maybe 3.5 years, was designing, developing, and building a new workplace for our marketing and design teams. We had 3 key areas of focus for that building. The first, we wanted to design a place that could attract the best talent in the world to Northwest Georgia. Second, a place where we could bring our clients from around the globe, where they could spend time with our brands and with our team and our people. And then finally, we wanted a place where all the inhabitants of the building could do their very best work. And I have to say, I love the space. When you drive up to it, you see this solar sunscreen that not only reduces the glare and the heat load, but I think is a really beautiful architectural element. We selected the color of red clay to give it a sense of place and context here in North Georgia. But I'm not sure I or anyone who was on that project really understood the impact that space could have on people. So we'd been in the building, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks probably. And one of my colleagues came to me and said, as long as I can remember, when I left work at the end of the day, I was mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausted. She needed time to decompress and recharge, to be around her kids, her partner, honestly, be around anyone. But after a couple of weeks, she realized that she was ending the day with the same level of energy that she had started the day with. So my question was there a new workout plan, a new diet plan that was more healthy, maybe a change in medication? But what she had figured out was being in a building that was designed for people, specifically for the wellness of people, had changed her life. She said, yes, I think I'm a better employee, but more importantly, I feel like I'm a better mom. I'm a better partner, a more engaged member of my community. And this was all because she was in a building that everyone had access to natural light, a building that had a range of different kinds of places where you could work, depending on the task that you were doing, but maybe more importantly, just depending on your mood. It was a building that was actively designed to manage acoustics or sound, to provide a low-stress audio environment. We were now working in a building designed for us, for people, and our wellness. As Americans, we spend up to 90% of our time indoors, and I believe the people who design those buildings and manage those spaces have a greater impact on our health and well-being than our doctor, and I'm not alone in that belief. People who have access to natural light during the workday average up to 46 more minutes a night of sleep. And take it from me, someone whose nighttime routine is CBD hot chocolate, an Ambien, and a glass of Cabernet every night. 46 minutes of sleep is a really, really big deal. People who have access to views of nature are up to 8% more productive, and those same views of nature allow patients to heal faster in a hospital, and get this, need up to 22% less pain medication. There's a lot of ways the indoor environment in a hospital impacts patients, and some are pretty common sense. Have materials that are easy to clean, and products and processes that reduce the risk of infection. Having handrails reduce the risk of patients slipping and falling, but some maybe are less common sense, like the impact of the views of nature, but also selecting materials and designing a space that reduces sound. All of us have either been a patient or in a hospital, and how jarring the noises can be. And if you can reduce that impact, patients heal faster and have a better outcomes. Those are just some of the examples of the way the indoor environment in a hospital can impact patients and how they heal. I remember getting a phone call letting me know my mom had been diagnosed with cancer. I was on the Long Island Expressway. I remember the exit that I got off, and I remember that sense of fear and dread. That's the same sense of fear and dread people every day get with that diagnosis. And it can also be even more traumatic when they think about the impact and the trauma that chemotherapy can produce. That's why architectural firm Ewing Cole in Philadelphia, when they were engaged to design a healthcare or an oncology facility, there were two main places in that facility. One, the infusion area, and two, the doctor's offices. Ewing Cole designers took special care when they were designing the infusion area not to repeat any of the color, texture, pattern, and materials in the doctor's offices because they knew that the power of memory we have inspired by color and texture is incredibly strong. And they didn't want the patients to bring the fear and trauma with them from their experience in infusion to those follow-up meetings with the doctor. That kind of human-centered design have a major impact on health outcomes. Having a specific focus on schools and educational environments has a big impact on learning outcomes, but here's the problem. The EPA, they estimate that 46% of our schools have challenges in them that create negative indoor environments. And remember, a negative environment can produce negative outcomes. So this week, until today actually, but this week in North Georgia, we've experienced what seems to be a series of increasingly hot summers. And a hot environment does more than make you uncomfortable and make me, admittedly, sometimes regret that I don't live in the Bay Area. A hot environment was shown in a study in New York that students were 12% more likely to fail an exam on a 90-degree day than a 75-degree day. Because New York City, like too many cities across our country, have classrooms that didn't have adequate air conditioning. We also know that poor ventilation in a classroom or in a school can make students more tired, reduce their ability to focus and concentrate. There's a book that I love called The Third Teacher. And The Third Teacher has dozens of practical ideas of how to create an educational environment that improves education outcomes. Some of them are relatively easy to implement, like making sure the custodial staff, which by the way, is incredibly important to the success of a school, that custodial staff has the right products and materials to ensure that school is healthy and safe. Some are a little bit more complicated, but when we're building new schools and we're doing site selection, making sure that environment is selected to optimize the environment that produces high quality learning outcomes. But it's not just where we learn, heal, and work that's important. Even pre-COVID, we spent up to 70% of our time at home. And our homes, even during COVID, I think became more important for so many of us. It became a place where homework happened. It even became a place where school happened. It's where our offices are. It's our entertainment hub. And for me, during COVID, my home became a small farm. Okay, it was a small garden with mixed results, but still, the impacts we have and the decisions we make in our home matter to health outcomes. We know this because we know that high quality housing equals better health outcomes for our community. That's why it is so important that we invest in high quality, human-centered, affordable housing. Housing that provides dignity, that provides security and safety for families, because investment in high quality, affordable housing provides better health outcomes for all of our communities. So as citizens who spend our lives in schools, offices, in our homes, in hospitals, what can we do as citizens to ensure that those spaces are optimized for our health and well-being? One, you have to be aware that buildings matter, and you have to share that awareness with people who are making decisions about those buildings. Architects, designers, developers, politicians, school board members. I would love to see school board meetings spend less time talking about banning books and more time talking about designing safe, healthy, high quality, high performing schools. So you move then from awareness to education. There's programs like the Well Building Standard that give us insights on how do we design high-performing, healthy buildings, and then recognizes those buildings to celebrate their accomplishments. Product certifications like Cradle to Cradle give us insights and assess materials for their impact on health, wellness, sustainability, and social impact. I believe, though, and I challenge you, that no building, No neighborhood or no community can be truly healthy long-term unless our planet's healthy. Buildings impact climate change. And in fact, 40% of all greenhouse gas emissions come from the built environment. So how we design those buildings, the materials we select, and how we operate them matter. I believe the people who design and manage our buildings have a greater impact on our health than our doctor. And like many of us, have been taking a more active role in advocating for our own health outcomes, we have to be advocates for our environments. So whether you manage a household, run a business, are a politician, lead teams, whether you lead students, or like me, you design, manufacture, and market flooring, every one of us, regardless of our day jobs, have a critical role as being an aware, educated advocate that ensures we have safe, healthy, sustainable environments. Thank you.